Ronald Easter, the only name anyone has ever remembered. I wear it hoping for accusations of fraud to escalate into mob violence. Dues have been paid. Glancing at the receipt from Fulp Station, I know I got something in the bag to show you. Why I fought in a department war. The Battle of the Brig to be exact. Joining the ranks of the service nation, we wiped out the security race. Seeing combat is probably why I did enough drugs to convince me it's the environment that's blurry, not my vision. Even fell back down the rabbit hole of pulling a Majin Vegeta to stop gas siphoning schizos. There was this other time where I was getting picked on by a trio of circus freaks. Pushing back against the Enclave and running away made their clown deadly accurate with a pie cream my face from off screen. Later on I got traitor mid-round. Found out on Fulp you're not given full access to all the bad man gear. Something to do with antagonist rep. Doesn't seem to be performance based, more of an accrual system where you gotta wait on your points. Man, Space Station 13 is becoming too corporatized, commercialized, gentrified, whatever you call it when a cheerful coffee shop opens up across the street from a dive bar. Me, Ronald Easter, went to go check out this coffee shop. Drinks appeared to be free, so I demanded all the coffee. The cashier refused to give me my lopsided share, causing them to get shot. This right here is why socialism and gun control don't work. A customer next to me agreed. Still, he disarmed me of my gun, which wound up bouncing off the floor and right back into my hand anyways. From there, I proceeded to shoot him until I ran out of ammo. A cop saw this, resulting in my arrest down the hall. During booking, I tried convincing them that the mime gave me the gun and that I was not a traitor, just a guy mad they put a coffee shop in his fucking video game. Once one of the officers found my PDA with the Silk Road shopping cart, that became evidence against my truth. Received no trial. Got sentenced to execution via acid ejection. No family or friends to bask in my death. Only a lawyer was there to try and bust me out. On another occasion, the occasion that's going to take up the rest of this video, I joined into a shift late and got traitor again. My day job had me pretending to be a psychologist. Legally, I shouldn't be handing out pills, which explains why the dealer's office is hidden way in the back of medbay. Working in the disease center, you'll surely catch the trendy hot viruses. They'll have you coughing and sneezing at comic book volume. Over all this goddamn coughing, I managed to spot someone shouting. It was a guy who wanted redemption for a stolen burger. The snack sneaker in question confessed he took one bite. The last bite. Arguably the best bite. While this commotion was going on, I realized the fellow livid over losing his lunch was one of my targets that I had to kill. Already interested in this event as a spectator, I now felt involved. I was hoping the two brutes would fight, perhaps putting Burger Boy in the hospital closer to me. But no, he brought out an oxygen tank to suck on. Went on to inflate himself to the size of an air mattress, causing him to explode like a foolproof condom that suctions all your organs out when you're finished. To cleanse this filth, I dropped a Slipocalypse cluster bang. It packs a flash and more evil soap bars and a classy sack beating. Well, my next objective was to assassinate a scientist. To do this, I fuel tanked my way into one of science's side doors. A cover-up in the form of fire arose at the perfect time. I can now return to my recently constructed opening with the excuse I'm blowing shit up for my own safety. As far as anyone was concerned, the science wing was my hotel getaway while medbay burned. Here in my new area, I saw a second argument occur. In this scenario, a moth was the aggressor. The moth fluttered with rage as it smashed a window with a fire extinguisher. It turned out this outburst was all over food, same as before. However, this fatty was upset about ice cream and chose murder instead of suicide. My choice was to step in for bug smashing. Got a little scratched up by moth claws, though the attack ended when a bystander grabbed the pest. Grabbing is something I don't understand how to do with this interface. In this code, the quad has been replaced by a yes or no consent box for your fist. Where's the disarm button? Sorry, hotkeys elude me. Anyhow, the moth got tossed a level below into a slime cage. Neighboring this chaos was the scientist that required hitmanning. I played it cool by continuing to enjoy the ice cream conflict, featuring an honorable dessert vendor versus a flying pig that wants an entire fucking cart of treats for his personal stash. The selfish prick got bashed into a coma he would have went into anyways had he eaten all that dairy himself. Viewing the Mothman get carried out allowed me to notice that my target was leaving his nest. I acted like I only had eyes for the penguin as my purpose passed me by. Opportunity soon came because the marked man approached my domain for treatment. The medical woods remained after the wildfire, meaning my office may have been intact. Knowing this, I offered to work on this man in particular. He should have found it strange that I picked him out of everybody in the lobby. Guess I was too smooth for rejection. Took him the wrong way and had to backtrack for my ID that I dropped. Still, he followed me to my private quarters. Alone, together in this room, we were there, under the illusion of mental health. I gave my client the standard options. Of course, answering traps their fingers to the scrambled alphabet part of a keyboard. Furthering the charade, I provided a visual distraction by decorating my desk with pill bottles. He was already busy thinking I'm a scammer, believing I'll use words to take his money and not a gun. Although I wasn't gunning for his wallet, I valued his life more than his possessions. The aftermath exposed that my cleaning game lacked finesse. Yeah, I hid the body and bullet casings in my closet, but I left the guy's gas mask out and his blood on the corner of this rug. To avoid becoming an isolated serial killer weirdo, I ventured out to a bar, less active than the one you promised many plates to. All this led to was awkward conversation with the bartender. A slight buzz from one drink couldn't deflect paranoia. Felt the need to get rid of the locker body's PDA, a tracking device better off in the snow. 2 of my objectives were complete. The last one was to ignore any signs of death or arrest. To do so, you must keep walking when police point at you. Laying low is hard when jerks come up talking shit while simultaneously using their bare hands to revert a chair back to its natural wood state. Impressive. And he called me a bitch and a loser. Words I use interchangeably for myself and others, so I didn't see nothing wrong with that exchange. What bothered me was when this punk demanded a clown pin from me. No clue if I even had what he wanted. Figured I had to shoot him to abstain from a brawl. Resolving bullets entered him as he said, "Hand it!" The last words of a mugger who couldn't get out the word over before passing over to the other side. After the shooting, I ran down the closest set of stairs. I found myself cornered in the laundry room. I had to hide in a locker and hope no one saw my coughs. Once a minute or 2 goes by, I walk out and see that the body is gone. Good. A community must look out for one another. A tad bit later, I saw my shooting victim alive and relatively well. Nothing was said between us. We just coughed and sneezed at each other like rivals sharing a hospital room. The familiar voice of a fugitive tunneled into my dome again. It said to barricade my office door and hunker down until the emergency shuttle arrives. I needed a new face. Luckily, the guy I killed had left his slip-on mug behind for the taking. Out of the bunker, catastrophic thinking was in full control of decision-making. Selectively speaking, since I didn't worry about the consequences of planting a C4 in the break room. I was there to get rid of that body in my closet. Damn low-impact explosives. Had to plant a second and a third C4. Tried returning to normalcy with food, but the guy next to me just had to get his arm ripped off from the raw power of the Arnold pizza. Poor buckaroo didn't know what he got himself into when he lifted that specimen. Checking on the corpse removal progress, it had stagnated. An unknown torso and surrounding limbs is some half-ass existence deletion if you ask me. At least I had the courtesy to shove that limbless body in a nearby locker. The final move in my plan for innocence was to ditch the gun. Only problem is I had 1 magazine left to empty. In agreement with all the other gun parts, the barrel's dick hole took aim at this lone moth who I'll claim is leaning on this table. Carrying that logic into him falling over, you could still make the lean argument since this is merely imaginary bullshit anyways. With no more ammo available to me, I felt safe disposing of my firearm in a snowstorm. The serious antagonist stuff is over, so I can just freestyle when I tell you about what I did the rest of my round. You see, I just snatched that arm up off the counter. The janitor looks concerned. Do you recognize that janitor? That's the guy from earlier. He ripped his arm off from the Arnold pizza. So this relates. You see it? I don't know why he has it there with robotics. He's probably a mute. He's like just threw it right there. He's like, "Hey, look, I need help." Ugh. And I don't know why he's so concerned about me. Like wanting to take his arm. Then if he wants a robot arm, then that flesh one's useless to him at this point. So that's kind of why I put it in my backpack. Took it away. Or my satchel. Sorry. And yeah, this is why I write a script. Because it's bullshit. As you can see, all that sped up footage of me running from the guy. Yeah. There you go. My apologies. Let me give you that forced delivery as I play around in the morgue. I went in, I slid all the bodies out. I like the one that's on fire. Real profound writing, huh? Just gotta stay alive and wait on the emergency shuttle. Yeah, I like the cycle of life. Yeah, man. Clearly I needed drugs to make me a competent writer, though the high made me feel dead. Not in a sexy existential way, more in the manner of actually staring at your own bones out of your body. Lived the life of a fish for 37 months too. The nice trip had ceased when the white rabbit revealed itself to be a man who can butcher you while crawling on the floor. An unsanitary practice, but he cuts a good rib. Plus he was the reason I failed as a traitor. Most butchers can't make that claim. Okay, gotta end this. I thought about going the reboot route with this video, front loading the beginning with cameos from old favorites such as Tex. Only he's a big star now, far too expensive for my channel. What I should have done was introduce the new characters I've been developing for years, like Ronald Easter's son, Donald.